Hey everyone, we're back. Little Shop of Hoarders, PDX Picker channel. I am Chris. I am a part-time reseller. I sell stuff on eBay, Poshmark, every 6 years on Mercari and Depop. Gotta pull some orders. That sold for me on eBay and Poshmark. And also first though, before we get into that, I want to go over what I found last night at the thrift store. I kind of had on a whim, decided to go to my local Goodwill, or what I used to call my favorite Goodwill, and then it wasn't my favorite Goodwill because they were overpriced, and didn't really have that many things. They're still kind of overpriced. They've been dropping the prices on some of the things, but lately I've had some really good luck there, and including last night. I went after work, and I found, well, I don't know. Let's try and tally up everything along the way. I spent some good money. I spent over $100 there. But let's take a look at what I found. Start off with the biggest moneymaker, I believe. I found a Champion juicer for only $14.99. Almost everything that I bought had been put out there in the last, either just put out yesterday or put out the day before. My Goodwill has a nice thing. I don't know if these are all like that. I hope that will focus on there. But right there, it says 1/13, which is the date that it was placed on the floor. Yesterday was 1/14. Anyway, this has only been there for 2 days, $14.99. I went ahead and tested it, plugged it in, it turned on, spun around. I have sold Champion juicer parts in the past. I actually found one at the Goodwill outlet, but there you can't test out the machines themselves, and this is super heavy. I don't know how much it weighs, but I'm guessing 20 plus pounds. This is a well-built, solid metal machine, but I parted out, I took these pieces off, and these sell, there's this, and then there's a blade inside. Those will sell for $15 to $25 a piece, but I'm going to try and sell this unit as a whole, and I think, cross my fingers, I think I'll get about $150, maybe $170 for these. So these are very high quality, very good reputation juicers. So right off the bat, spent $15, hopefully we'll get $150 on it. I picked up one item of clothing, several pairs of shoes. I actually hadn't seen these before, but these are, that's annoying. Well, this might not be as good as I hoped, but hopefully I can get this zipper fixed. But this is a Dickies jacket. I can't remember the specific name for it, but it has a pretty common, or has a model, if you will, to it. Spent $12.99. I mean, I guess right there on the tag it says as is. I don't know if you can see that. But this also was put out just yesterday. These sell quickly. Very good sell-through rate on these. So I would have asked $40, assuming this zipper was working. Might go down to 35 or $30. I don't know. It still works. I tried it on myself because I was thinking about keeping it for myself, but it's a size large. No, it is an extra large. I still might keep it for myself. That might be what it turns into. But let's just say $30 on that one. So we're at $180. Here is a pair of New Balance 990s. So I bought 3 pairs of shoes, and you're going to see a pattern with them. There were quite a few extra shoes I could have bought, but I specifically chose these. Paid $19.99, which is more than I would ever really want to pay. Also, these were put out on the 14th. I wasn't focusing. These are the version 6, so I think this is the latest version. It says it right, of course, the one place that I can't show. It says it right there. There's a V6 on there. Whatever, I apologize. These, just look at the condition on these. New, these are $150, $200. Very expensive New Balance running shoes. I bet you they were worn no more than twice. Very clean soles, very clean insoles. There's a little bit of wear right here, so this is going to be the biggest issue. Without this wear, I would have charged or asked $100, and eventually I think I would have got that. With this wear, I'm going to ask $75, and I think I'll still comfortably get that relatively simply. These have over 100% sell-through rate. Very good shoe. Probably one of the best New Balance running or just shoes in general out of the 990s. These are made in USA, really good reputation. So we are at 180 and 75, 255. Here we have a nice pair of Vans. I'm suddenly drawing a blank on what these are. Ultra Range Ecos. Again, just really nice, clean condition. This is why I bought these. I had to pay $12.99. These actually had been there for a while. These have been there since the 2nd. So I'd actually passed up on these once because I've been there since the 2nd already. But I don't remember seeing them before. The reason I got these are, of course, it's clean. These have a nice high sell-through rate. I'm hardly going to have to do any cleaning at all. I'm not going to get a ton of money, probably $35 for these. Maybe 40, but probably 35. So now we are at $290. These are I were a little bit bummed about. I just sold my last set of Homco or Sirocco, these like MCM plastic wall hangings. I saw these were only $3.99. I pretty much immediately grabbed them. These are actually on a new cart, so also just put out yesterday. When I want to just comp these after the fact, these are not branded, and I don't know, but I think they're modern. Not certain that that's really going to have too much of an effect on value, but I think it will. These are not old, so I'm probably going to only ask $25. I'm going to hopefully just use the keywords that I would have if they were the Homco or the Sirocco. Hopefully these will be found in the search listings. A little bit bummed, but still think we'll be able to get $25 for these. So now we're at $315. This is a Spalding basketball, but it's a trainer basketball. This is weighted, weighs 3 pounds. Paid $6.99. Also put out yesterday. I'm gonna ask $25 or $30 for these. So let's say 25. So now we're at $340. Good sell-through rate on this. This is cool. Surprisingly, so this is by Low Heat, which is also Vollrath, I believe. Vollrath is the parent company, and this is kind of their model is Low Heat. These are this double boiler coffee pot, probably from the 60s. Definitely needs some cleaning up. It's got quite a bit of, quite a few layers of gunk on it, but paid $6.99. Also put out yesterday, and for whatever reason, there are a bunch of other brands listed, but no Low Heats on eBay. So nonetheless, assuming this cleans up well, we're probably looking at $40 for that one. These are pretty popular boil over style, kind of like a percolator, but not really. I don't know how they work, but inside there, it's got all the parts and pieces it needs. So we're at 40, add 40 there, so that brings the total to $380. And lastly, this is the big wild card, although I don't think it's as exciting as I'd originally thought. These are weird looking. I looked at these. I recognize this logo. It's Saucony, I believe is how you pronounce it. A okay brand of shoe. Not something that I've sold too many of. And I saw the price, and I thought, there's got to be something going on with these. These are $24.99. Put out 2 days prior. And on the inside here, it says right there, Hess Kicks, or He's Kicks. I don't know how to pronounce it. Come to find out, this was a collaboration from back in 2017. By the way, these shoes have never been worn, new without box. Unfortunately, they do have that writing on there that Goodwill, my Goodwill anyway, does for to show what the price tag is. These were a very limited edition collaboration done back in, like I said, 2017. I think there were only 100 made, and I don't know if that was 100 total or 100 in each size. This is a size 12. There's some listed. I think there's 4 listed on eBay, and one is as high as $600. I think there's another one. Most of the others are $200 or $250. I think they all have their boxes, and so a lot of negatives going against this because no box. And the other big negative, not against these shoes in particular, but just against the whole thing. None have sold. So I know for sure I'm not going to be able to get 200 or 250. I'm probably going to shoot for 150. But I don't know if they're ever going to sell, to be honest. We're talking about an 8-year-old collaboration at this point. It's just exciting, the potential for it. So I think realistically, if it ever is going to sell, I'm going to probably say around the $75 to $100 area. Which spending $25 on that might not be the best of decisions, but it's also just kind of cool to know that there's maybe only 99 other pairs of these out there at the most, which I'm hoping somebody else will also feel that way, so much so that they'll actually buy them. But so all told, we're at $425 or so. So pretty good. I did spend $100 on everything, so we're looking at 4xing, but it'll be almost everything should have a very quick sell-through rate, except for maybe these. I don't know how quickly those will sell, and of course it depends on how this works out. The Dickies jacket and then these, but everything else should sell within a couple of months. So quick money, and decent money as well. So I felt good about just going out to Goodwill on a whim last night. Spent about 45 minutes there. So it was a pretty good trip, pretty quick profit. And I think I went out a couple weeks ago on Thursday night after work. That might be when they restock at this location, is later in the evening. So, or at least later in the afternoon. So I think that might be my new process at this Goodwill, is probably every Tuesday night, maybe every Thursday night. Just head on out there and see what I can find, because I'm very happy with that one quick trip. All right, I'm going to put this stuff away or get it out of the way, and then we're going to pull the orders that sold for me on eBay and Poshmark. In one of my recent videos, the time I sold my last Sirocco MCM candle holder things, I talked about how I didn't think I was going to actually buy any more because they were pretty big and a little bit of a bear to ship. So follow up on that, why did I just buy that one when I just a couple weeks ago said I was done? Well, that's actually quite a bit smaller. However, the more I think about it, I had a weird scenario, very odd. It turned out to be, I don't even know how I describe it. So those previous candlestick holders that I sold them on Poshmark. I shipped them in a large priority mailbox. Thought I'd wrap them up pretty well, but I didn't wrap them up well enough because one of them arrived broken. And the buyer was super nice about it, sent some pictures, just said, unfortunately one of these arrived broken, what should we do about it? Well, I'm thinking to myself, who's going to want just one of those on the wall? I mean, they're sold as a pair from the get-go for a reason. They just look better next to each other, staggered, however people like to put them up. But Poshmark is weird when it comes to refunds, so I can't just say, yep, I'm going to give you a refund. Partial, full, I can't choose any of that. I don't even think partial refunds are ever an option. So how it works is there is somebody at Poshmark customer support that will review every scenario when a customer opens up a case, which is what would happen in this case. So they opened up the case, she sent that message with a picture. I replied and said, I think if it was my vote, I would give you a full refund. So Poshmark customer support finally gets a chance to review it. This is about a day later. And they requested the buyer submit more photos of, I guess, the packaging and etc. Probably because they were going to, I suppose, be prepared for in case I wanted to submit an insurance claim on it. The post office is going to require more than just the one photo that she sent. The buyer, oddly enough, at that point just canceled her case, and at that point the funds were then released to me. So I don't know how I feel about that. I felt bad for the buyer. I think she probably said, I don't know if it's worth all this trouble. Maybe she felt bad for me. whatever it was, I didn't feel too great about the scenario. I mean, there's no chance of any negative feedback or anything like that coming to me. That's basically how Poshmark works. So I'm not worried about it from that perspective. I just didn't feel like the buyer got a great experience, but it is what it is. Simultaneously, I just had another instance, and this one bothers me a little bit more. I had sold a Bose acoustic wave radio and CD player, parts only. Sold it for $60 and shipped it out last week. The buyer just messaged me today. They're opening up a return because it showed up in the case. I had a really big chunk taken out of it. Somehow, I mean, I use my heavy bubble wrap. I put a lot of extra packing paper in there. It still arrived broken. And even though it's parts only, maybe one of the parts you're planning, I mean, if they were planning on fixing it, that big chunk out of the case just makes it look quite unattractive. So they definitely deserve some sort of refund, whether it be they ship it back to me and then I'll give them a refund at that point. Of course, I'll have to pay for the label in this case because the item arrived damaged. But what I want them to do is just submit a few more photos so that I can then submit to the USPS for an insurance claim on that. I can give them a full refund and then I'll get my $60 when it comes to the insurance claim. The issue though is, I think it's similar to, so that buyer does not have to supply any additional photographs, as far as I can tell. I might get eBay to step in to try and help me out in this scenario, and I'm not saying the buyer is even not offering to send the photos. This just happened to me. I just asked for them to send the photos, but they don't have an obligation to, or at least it doesn't seem they do, like they do. So that's why I brought up the Poshmark case, because I feel like that's why Poshmark, before the refund ever came through, they essentially in that case forced the buyer to submit more photographs. I could see how it's a frustrating experience for the buyer, which then led her to close her case. And this would be a frustrating experience for the buyer of this Bose radio. They didn't do anything wrong. And now all of a sudden they have to, they have homework that they need to do by taking these photographs. You got to take a photograph of the box, the label, the packaging, the item itself that's broken, and the damage. So quite a few pictures. It's not that big of a deal if you're handy with your phone. Take a few pictures on your phone, send that, attach those in your message through the eBay app. It's quite simple if you're technologically savvy. Maybe this person isn't, and that might be a bit of an issue. So anyway, I like that Poshmark goes to bat for the sellers when there's damage in this case, because they are requiring the photographs. But I also understand why maybe eBay doesn't do that or isn't part of their natural process. So anyway, that's what's going on in the return world. I don't have a lot of sales. It's been a couple of days and sales have calmed down quite a bit. Start with the Poshmark sale. I've had this listed for a long time. I thought it was super cool when I bought it. I only paid $2 for it. And I don't know if this is, I think this might be one of those where if you have like a booth in, an antique mall booth or something like that, it would probably sell much faster. Because it's just one of those things where it looks better in person. I'm going to have to set the camera down because I can't find it right away. And I'm a little bit nervous that I maybe sold it already. Alright, crisis averted. I found it. It's this right here. Reminds me a lot of the Pixar lamp, even though it's not at all like that. But this here is a vintage Tensor desk lamp. It's got wood grain here and kind of like this patina de rust piece there. I don't know if any of that's coming through on the camera, but anyway, like I said, only paid about $2 for this probably 2 years ago. Took forever to sell, but it sold for $24 on Poshmark. I think, and I know I discounted the shipping on that because I only made $16.22 off of it. Poshmark will just automatically charge $7.99 for whatever the shipping, for whatever the size of the item is, as long as it's up to 5 pounds. but you as a seller can't discount the shipping. So I thought somebody probably might not want to spend $7.99 to ship that. But then that just means I earned a little bit less. So whatever, it is what it is. $2, and I eventually made $16.22 after fee. I'm okay with that, other than the fact that it took way too long. But it was going to sell much quicker than that. I actually have another one. I have an orange version, or a salmon version, basically a color. It has some nice color on it. That's also not selling. I think you just need to see it in person. This next sale, almost not even worth mentioning, but I'm just happy to finally get rid of it. This Philadelphia Eagles hat finally sold about 2 years after I bought it. I bought a lot of, I think 6 or 7 different Philadelphia Eagles related items, including a sweatshirt, 4 or 5 hats, I don't know, sign of some sort. Everything else had sold quite a while ago. Even a damaged hat sold before this. This finally sold for $4.25 plus just a tiny little bit of shipping, $4.95. Well, my camera died right when I was talking about the cost of shipping the hat. Turned out to be $4.62. So I charged $4.95 for shipping. Thankfully, I didn't have to pay even more on something that I'm barely making any money off of anyway. This next item that sold, I sent out an offer, and the person accepted it. When I bought this, I was pretty excited. I thought it was much cooler. These are, this is a Mr. Who? Mr. Who. Doctor Who related item. These are the sonic screwdriver sets, and I bought this for $5, and when I looked up, I comped it online. These were like $35, $40 new, maybe even more than that. When I did a little bit more looking into it, and if you can, obviously this is not the original, or it's not the original packaging, or it is original packaging, but it's missing like the outer layer. But it's also missing something right here on the bottom, which is the actual like basically the engine that powers those things, the light and the battery pack and all that stuff. So ended up selling that for $13.04 plus shipping. Made a profit. Sold it relatively quickly. No more than about 2 months. Just not nearly as much as I thought it was going to be. Sold this next item in just a day or two. First time I've ever come across one of these. This is a Pura Smart Fragrance Diffuser. New in the box. This is these come in different versions. This was the Pura 3. Paid $4.99 for this at my favorite thrift store, and that sold for $29.99 free shipping. I don't know why I did the free shipping on this. I've kind of come to the conclusion that I don't want to do free shipping anymore, even though I just listed this 3 days ago or so, and I did free shipping. But just for whenever there is that scenario where the buyer decides they just don't want the item, so they're going to send it back and they want a refund. Normally I would not refund the original shipping cost if they just changed their mind and decided they don't want it. But when you send something free shipping, you have to refund the full amount. And so in that case, I have to refund the shipping, even though technically it's free. So that sold for $29.99 free shipping. Paid $5 for it. And the last item of the day only had, I think, 5 sales. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, 5 sales in 2 days. Really, really slow. You know, before we get to it, let's do another fact or crap, because those are just fun. The iPhone feature Name Drop, which is part of iOS 17, poses a serious privacy threat as it can share all of your data with any passing iPhone user. Fact or crap? Well, I'm pretty certain that I know that to be crap. I don't have an iPhone, but I remember hearing people were freaking out about it, and it's crap, and it is in fact crap. It's not serious. It only allows sharing of contact info when users intentionally initiate it. And last one of the day, I feel like there's a little bit of a political leaning in fact or crap that I wasn't expecting, but maybe not. Remarkably, the name Obama means little chief in Japanese. What do we think? Fact or crap? I also think that's crap. That's just my opinion. It's crap. Obama means little beach in Japanese. Okay. Whoop-dee-doo. Those are kind of fun. Not as interesting as I thought, but still kind of fun. All right, last item of the day. Hopefully this will come. Obviously, there it is. Paid $9.99 for this at Goodwill. This is a vintage Disney store, made in the USA, Winnie the Pooh crew neck sweatshirt. There's a lot of these out there, but they sell quite well. And I had this listed for, I think, 45 bucks, but somebody sent me an offer for $30.05. I was charging $9.95 for shipping, so I guess they wanted to pay a flat $40 on it. And I went ahead and took it because, well, I haven't had a lot of sales, and it's still a decent profit on that one. But that's going to do it for today's video. I don't know how long it will be, because I jibber-jabbied quite a bit at the beginning. But not a lot of sales. Hopefully your sales are doing better. But thanks so much for watching. Please like this video if you did. Subscribe to my channel if you aren't already. And we'll catch you on the next video. Good luck with all those reselling ventures out there. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.